Hi everybody, and welcome to this weekend update. I know I came to you guys in the beginning, sort of the beginning of the week, to talk about my weekly updates, and now I have some weekend updates. Sometimes I come to you once a week, sometimes I come to you 3 times a week. But this week, it looks like it was now the beginning and the end of the week. So just a few updates before we kind of get into things. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope everyone is not freaking out because of all these different states talking about reopening and people talking about not reopening and people telling you don't go out, people telling you to go out. I'm sure a lot of you are very confused. And like I said last time, you just want to be aware of your own intuition and work, because there's going to be no consistent message at this point. There's going to be no consistent message on what you should do, what's best to do. I feel like this next week coming up is going to be a time of major confusion with leadership, where you're just like, who do I listen to and what do I do? And like I said last time, your intuition is your best option. But the fake reopening that I was talking about, the putting the cart before the horse, that has happened since last session. So I just want to tell you that what I feel is that to move slowly. This is not the time to just let your guard down and go back out and do everything you've been doing. So please keep settled. And I know you guys have this crazy energy of movement, plus the weather's getting nicer. We had snow, now we have sun. So what do you do with that energy? You can channel that into some creative pursuits, and we're going to talk about that soon. Just letting you know kind of what's going on. If I look a little shiny, it's because every time we're doing these videos, I'm trying to make them better to get everything ready for the Intuitive Development Workshop series. And I finally got a tripod. Now we're working with lighting. So if I look shiny, I put enough powder on. I'm not trying to shine you guys out with my face, but it looks probably a little shiny right now. So I'm just playing with the lighting. Luckily, the lighting is maybe a little bit better than last time, where the window was behind me. And I also, like I told you last time, I cut my own hair. This time I actually tweezed my own eyebrows because things were getting a little bit bushy, and I really wasn't willing to wait another month to now wax my eyebrows. Now, when I was 16, I owned one of those little waxing kits where you can wax your own eyebrows. I don't have one of them. Would have made it a lot easier. I tweezed each hair one by one, and let me tell you, it was excruciating and I did not like it, but I tweezed. Did any of you guys tweeze your own eyebrows yet? Because it really hurts. So a note to myself for this next video, we're working on the lighting, and I'm trying not to touch my hair as much. So I'm just going to touch my hair now and get it over with. And then hopefully I'm not going to touch it 20 more times today. So there we go. Okay. So I have a couple things, news for you guys, and then we're going to get into stuff from the last update. And then we're going to get into the retrograde that's upon us, April 25th, which is today, and it's not Mercury, it is Pluto, and it's a time of transformation. So remember, last time I was talking to you guys about emotional upheavals, mental breakdowns. Well, I'm not an astrologer, so I don't actually follow astrology to a T, but when I looked into it, I found out that we were on the verge of a Pluto retrograde, which is complete upheaval, transformation, facing our shadows, going to the depths of the subconscious, facing everything in complete transformation. Now, I'm going to get into that. But before I get into that, I have this all outlined so I don't go off on a tangent on you guys, because I know I go off on tangents, but I do like my tangents. The random stuff I feel is some of the most fun stuff. I hate to be really organized, because then I miss out on all this channeled stuff that I think is fun. So yeah. So I wanted to tell you about other places where I'm going to be posting more interesting content for you guys. So if you guys didn't know, I do have an Instagram account, and I'm going to be, I'm really into creative culinary recipes that I create, and I don't use specific measurements. It's all intuitive chef making, and you guys might like some healthy eating. And I post some things that I do daily, some interior design stuff. I post inspirational quotes and some other stuff that I don't do here. So a lot of people who have social media accounts, they do the same stuff all over the place. I'm doing things a little bit differently. So if you want to follow some of that content for daily living, just go to Marisa Liza Pell. That is my Instagram name. And then I'm also, for the people that are having trouble with getting onto Facebook, who don't have Facebook, I'm going to be putting these videos also on YouTube for now. And then I'm going to actually be putting different videos on different platforms. So I'm going to be making different videos for YouTube, different videos for Instagram, and the live webcast for you guys on Facebook. But for now, if you're having trouble accessing Facebook, I will be posting these on YouTube as well. And that's the channel is called Connection Beyond on there. So the last update, let's go back to that. The last update, we talked about the emotional upheaval. We're going to go over Pluto retrograde, which is now till I believe October 3rd. Got to recheck that. And I did fix, now when I post these messages, I do fix the stuff, the date on the top. So thank you guys for that. So let's look at some of these aspects of Pluto retrograde. Okay, I actually pulled some stuff up on my laptop. Now, like I said, it's going to be a time of complete transformation coming up for everybody. This is the time where if you had issues with personal power or trauma, so trauma, like I said last time, could be anything from a divorce in your family to any form of abuse, to separation, of a sudden death of a loved one, any type of trauma that you've never dealt with. It started last week, it's bubbling up. The anxiety or depression, anything where you feel like the anger started to bubble up last week, and this is actually good for us so that we can purge it and move through. The Pluto retrograde 2020 is going to bring a lot of positive changes to these signs, okay? So if you have one of these astrological signs, it's going to be a little bit easier on you. If you don't, you're going to have to face your fears, you're going to have to face your shadows, but like Linda the Good Witch said, you had the power all along. You just got to bring it back. So these are issues of personal power. And where did you give away your power? How do you give away your power and taking your power back? So you could be the most self-sufficient person. You could be a person that's successful in business, successful in your life, you make money, but with maybe codependence, maybe people pleasing, maybe with your personal family and friends, you don't really have those good boundaries. This is the time to face some of those fears. And if you're constantly busy and constantly on the move, you're one of those people you need to really pay attention during this Pluto retrograde, because it's not going to be the most comfortable, but it's going to be a time of complete and utter transformation of your consciousness and also the world consciousness. Okay. I'm looking at, I touched my hair again. I'm sorry. That's only the second time though. Usually it's about 30 times by now. So April 25th to October 3rd, we're in this Pluto retrograde of complete and utter transformation. You could completely change who you are during this time. You could completely change and reinvent yourself. You could completely go to a different career. You could completely just finally come into your own. Everything that you've always wanted to be and do, you're not going to have those insecurities, those doubts, and especially, this is something very important, the self-sabotaging that once held you back. Now, I bet you, I don't care who you are out there. If you have the pie chart of your life, there's going to be the parts of the pie that are good, that are shining, and then there's those other parts of the pie which you just can't seem to get a handle on, and you keep playing out patterns over and over and over again, and you can't seem to get it. This is where the Pluto retrograde is going to come into play. If you want to get this finally handled, most of you have been dealing with this stuff your whole life, 30 years, 20 years. You want to get this stuff handled, this is the time to let it happen. I'm telling you, it's not going to be comfortable. It's probably going to be some of the worst pain you've ever experienced in your life, but it's going to take you to your greatest healing, and you're finally going to be free to finally be yourself and what you want to be and do, and nothing's going to hold you back. So face the pain, move through it, sit with it, and come to the other side. Now, the planet of transformation. What signs are going to have it a little bit easier of a time during this Pluto? So Tauruses, born April 20th to May 20th, you're going to have a little bit easier of a time because the Pluto is forming a trine for you. And that indicates shifting energy should flow easily and make you feel like things are falling into place, even if it changes a few of your plans along the way. Tauruses, you like planning things, don't you? You love having it all planned out in life, all planned out. Well, guess what? You like the stability, you like the routine. It's not going to be that way for you these coming months. I know you hate it, but this change is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And you're one of those signs that's going to benefit from this Pluto retrograde. You could experience, Taurus, a change in your thinking, educational, or even travel plans, but not in a bad way. Okay, the next sign that it's going to actually affect in a positive way are you Virgos. So that's another earth sign. You're redefining the way you experience pleasure and leisure. So a lot of you Virgos, you're probably going to be trying to plan a trip. Don't plan the trip that you thought you were going to plan a year ago, because that's not going to work out. Plan the trip late May into something now that you want to do, because a lot of you have completely already overhauled your way of thinking by this point. So Pluto, for you Virgos, will retrograde in the house of children, friends, and love. So you could see changes in that area coming up. So it should work out in the long run, even if you change your mind about a romance. So some of you might be thinking about what you want in the areas of love. It might not be what you thought. Going with the flow is the key for you guys. And you could trust that any doors that close during this time are going to remain closed, but they're going to open you to the greater doors. So Virgos, I know you like doing things, you're perfectionists, you like doing things your own way. If you keep doing that, you're going to suffer during the next 2 months. Sorry to say. Our lovely Scorpios, don't we love our Scorpios? The stingers of the group. If Pluto is actually your ruling planet, Scorpio. So Pluto is your ruler, and of course they're going to take care of you. Scorpios are the masters of transformation and of going into the depths of the darkness, the subconscious. They are the rulers of the underworld. Let's just say that. And that's not a bad thing, but they know darkness. The Scorpios do. And they could expect big changes in this retrograde, and positive ones, not difficult ones. If you experience a major change, Scorpio, I don't feel it's going to be as difficult and distracting as most of your life has been, because it seems like everything in your life, every upheaval that you had has been kind of crazy. So this time it looks, and then if it was easy, you're like, well, when's the other shoe going to drop? So that's going to be good. So just take the good at this point. And the other sign, the fourth sign that's going to have an easier time during this Pluto retrograde is Pisces. But they could have intense transits during this time, a lot of soul searching, but gentle waves. And I don't think you'll be distracted or face issues with the Pluto retrograde this year. And your changes will occur in hopes and wishes, friends, and group activities, but it won't be anything dramatic or over the top. And embrace the shifts in community. Sometimes you fish, those Pisces fish, they like to go alone, they like to isolate. This is not the time. You want to make sure that you're in the community. Okay, so those are the signs that are going to have the easiest time. The rest of you, not so much. But the good thing is that the rest of you are moving through such amazing transformations at this point. And anything that you put your mind to, you just got to feel the pain and move through it. I mean, if you survived whatever trauma you've experienced in your life, and like I said, it doesn't have to be major, it could be minor, but it's trauma. If you survived it, you'll survive this. Most of your life, most of you, the other signs that I'm talking about, you've been running from this. And yes, you may have accepted these things. You may have said, I'm over it. You may have said, I've forgiven people, places, or things, but that doesn't mean that your brain chemistry and your body haven't held on to it. Usually it houses in our energy cell, in our cellular memory, and it could even show itself in muscle tension. So if you want to do a project around transformation, you want to help people with transformation, you want to help people evolve to the next dimension, to our next shift, the rest of you signs are going to be going through some hard knocks, but you know what? It's best to take care of it now, because once we go into that next dimensional shift, which will be in June, you guys got to be ready for just a complete reinventing of yourselves. Everything you've always wanted to be and do take care of those limitations and don't let them limit you anymore. Whatever those are, face them and move ahead. That's the challenge during this Pluto retrograde. So if you feel yourself getting closer to those breakthroughs and you're uncomfortable, and I mean, if you're quarantined, of course you're going to be uncomfortable. You can't get away. You can't run away from those things that you've been running away from. So you got to face yourself. Okay, so let's get into the world energy, huh? Shall we? Shall we get into the world energy? Let's see what's going on. Okay, so that false reopening, plus the weather, more people daring. So you might want to, there I go again. You might want to do something daring. You might want to feel you want to get out. You might say, well, a little bit getting out's not going to hurt. Not the time, okay? Some random things that were coming up in my mind. Airline issues. I don't know what's going to be going on with the airlines, but something in the news with the airlines is coming up. Plus something about going through baggage. I have no idea what. This would be checkpoints, going through baggage, different rules. But something about airline issues. Probably not a good time to travel at this point. The timber thing, I have no idea what that is. That's still coming up. I heard Lone Star State in my mind when I was writing, so I think some issues with Texas are going to be coming up, and it's not going to be favorable. I actually had a reading with a client this morning. She was talking about how I was talking about different pet adoptions, and I had no idea that I told her, because she's from New Jersey, and I told her that I feel like she's going to be adopting a pet from South Florida. I'm like, how is that going to happen? And she said that a lot of pets you could adopt from other states and they get like shipped up to you. So she was telling me about this program called Pilots and Pets, which I didn't know about, which I wanted to tell you guys about. And Pilots and Pets is, I guess, pilots, airline pilots giving their time to go and fly down and pick up animals that need to be adopted and bring them to, I guess, facilities in other parts of the country where people are adopting them. So check out that program. It was really cool to hear about that. I'm also feeling something with the earth moving, so I'm not sure if that's like a positive or a negative, or earthquakes or tsunamis, but I felt something about big waves too. And this is an international feeling. This isn't, I don't believe, in the United States, but I'm getting something about the earth's core and the slate or something in the earth movement and gravitational pull, and something about like major water and waves. But it's the earth's way, I think, of cleansing and clearing the energy. Leadership is going to be in question, because we're going to be hearing about different types of leadership saying completely different things in the upcoming seven days. And it's going to be really diverse what's kind of happening. So leadership is going to be in question on both sides, not just, one party, on both sides. Ford Motor Company is coming up. Something about recalls. I'm not sure if that's with Ford or with another car company, but something going on about Ford Motor Company and car production, and I'm not feeling that's favorable. Also, civil actions with tickets to previous events coming up. So people, if you have bought tickets, I think there's going to be something with civil actions with people getting money and refunded back for tickets. We talked about scams 2 videos ago. I feel like phone scams are coming up next week, and these are different scams than the bank scams that were before. I feel like people calling about different programs that that the government is offering. They're going to be calling as representatives to ask about different tax information. Just be aware of that before you give any of your social security numbers out or anything. I feel phone scams coming up next week. What am I can't even read my writing half the time. Issue with the new release of I could read it. Issue with the new release of a sought after hybrid vehicle. Not sure which company this is, but this has been a release that's been in the waiting. People are excited about this hybrid car that's coming out. Major issues with it. Do not buy any sort of hybrid right now, because I don't know which brand that I'm hearing, but this is a sought after release of this car. It's a hybrid. And I'm hearing wait until mid-June for a car purchase. If you're thinking about purchasing a car, wait until mid-June. More tickets being given out. So yeah, I didn't even want to write this one down, because I'm like, I don't want to tell people this. So if you're driving even from point A to point B, which you shouldn't be driving too much anyway, it seems like tickets are going to be given out more. I was hoping that wasn't the case, and I'm hoping I'm wrong about it. That would not be good. What is this a great time for coming up? Great time for publishing and writing and power of the written word. If you want to write a blog, if you're looking to write a book, if you're looking to create a script, anything on paper, now's the time to do it. Not a good time for new TV shows or film, but good time for podcasting. So any of those creative endeavors, that's good. Any type of guidance coming through on anything, which is good. This is really cool. I had received some information that of revelations coming to you, of things that you were mysterious in your life. This could have been your whole life or just the past 5 years. If you had a medical condition, you couldn't figure out what was wrong. You're going to just get the guidance and follow it and find out, like, through something comes to your mind, and you're going to research it and say, oh my God, no one ever told me this. So anything mysterious that you couldn't figure out or didn't have the answers to, you're going to finally get that key to unlock a lot of answers as to what's been ailing you, those mysterious things that have been going on. And you're going to find those answers and finally have the keys to unlock those things you haven't been able to really take care of and to really resolve. So Pluto Retrograde is going to bring that as well. For those people who want to get pregnant at this point, be aware this is a time of multiples. Multiple spirits are coming down at a time. So if you are looking to have twins, triplets, quadruplets, quintuplets, be aware this is going into June. If you get pregnant now, there may be a good time, good possibility you will be having multiples. Spirit pregnancies. Booking trips at this point, a lot of people are asking me about booking trips. By the end of May, it may be a good time to think about booking trips, okay? Trips where you're not going to be around lots of people, but I do feel that booking trips leading out through the next year should be okay. Something came up like randomly, like it always does, about Jeff Dunham. He's that puppet comedian, right? I don't know why he's coming up. And Paul Ryan, the politician? I don't know. And be aware of ice cream companies. If you're getting ice cream that's not really a good brand, I see a little freezer burn with some ice cream that's being put out there, not good ice cream, so that's not good either. But yeah, so if you're not looking to get pregnant, it's not a good time to not be taking care of that or not be preventing it. So, but there is going to be some unexpected pregnancies coming up during this quarantine going into the end of June. So if it's unexpected, just remember it may be multiples. Now, I'm going to be putting out a blog post later today as well. And I'm also still have, if you are on this and this is your first time watching, I do have a guide for 8 ways to know that the other side is communicating with you. Just go into the description of this video and you will be able to download a free guide so that you can connect with loved ones on your own on the other side. And I'm doing this with Facebook live feed, and for anybody on YouTube who's watching this, if you want to go to Facebook, it is Medium Marisa Liza Pell, and we're going to be doing these live feeds. I actually am seeing that I'm doing these between 3:30 and 4:15, so that's usually the time that it seems to be happening. And I think that's about it for today. I know that was a lot. But I'm trying to give you guys all the information that I can. And I'm going to be sending out today's video to the emails, the video from the beginning of the week, and any other information that's coming up today. So if you're not on the list, make sure you get on the list to receive all the videos. Anyway, I'm out of energy for today. Thanks so much for listening, and stay tuned. And again, I am going to be putting a lot of stuff on my Instagram account, Marisa Liza Pell, and YouTube, which is Connection Beyond. So have a great day, guys. And just keep getting rested. Take an Epsom salt bath, pray, meditate, call a friend, and just play. Just have a good time. Do something fun tonight. All right? You guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Okay, bye-bye.